してるより愛してることを伝える言葉がないのは
Alright, so today's video is my car too small? Whoopsie, did I buy the wrong vehicle? No, I'm going to tell you why your vehicle is perfect. It may be perfect for you. But first of all, I want to say how grateful I am for all of my followers. I am so happy. I love the comments. I love reading the comments. I love having fun with you guys. And that's what this is all about. It's about a lot of fun. So if you have any questions about living in a small car or a big van, put it in the comments below. And keep guessing as to who I'm going to be. My gosh, I put so many hints in that video. Now, I do apologize. This is going to be a little bit longer video. And the reason why is some of my viewers wrote, oops, I bought a small car and, I'm going to have a rooftop carrier or whatever. Well, I lived in a Prius for 2 years and I never needed a rooftop carrier. So I'm going to talk to you about organization, things to do. It's going to be all living in a small car. And I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of pictures of my Prius. I didn't start my channel till about 5 or 6 months ago. And by then I was already in my Sienna. And I do love my Sienna. I love the Prius even more though. It has a special place in my heart. Okie dokie. Now, the first time I lived in a Prius was 5 years ago. And Sue Ann online, she has this wonderful blog. And she teaches you step by step how to live in a small car. And she lived in a Prius, oh my gosh, maybe for almost 10 years. So if she could do it, anyone could live in a small car. I did it for 2 years, and we'll talk about why I quit it in a minute. But Sue Ann, and then my favorite videos was Pam on the Lam. And about a year ago, she yanked off her videos, and I am so sad. She lived in her Yaris for 2 years, and she made it work. Now, I'm 5'8". I am full size. I am life size. I'm a big girl. Not big, but I'm big enough. And living in a Prius wasn't difficult. And I'm going to tell you what all I did to make it even better. All right. So, Pam on the Lam, I wish you'd put back your videos. And I hope you're watching mine. So if she could live in a Yaris for 2 solid years and I could live in a Prius for 2 years, you can make anything work. It's all a bunch of, it's in your mind. Yes, you do have to do this shuffle constantly, but you know what? If you think about all the positive things of living in your car while you're doing the shuffle, you won't mind doing the car shuffle. All right. So the question is, if I love living in a small car, and yes, I'm reading from my script. I have a traumatic brain injury, as most of my viewers know. So if I love living in a small car, why aren't I in one? Well, that's an honest question, and I'm going to give you a real honest answer. Right now, the way I see the United States, and I could be wrong, it looks like a little tinderbox going to explode at any moment. Every day there's something new and crazier on the news, and this wasn't like this a couple of years ago. For me, the United States has always been a stable country, and I don't know where we're headed. But I got this Toyota Sienna for one specific reason, and as crazy as it gets, this is my bug-out vehicle. So this isn't what I would choose to do all my stealth camping in, and I'll tell you why. But this is my bug-out vehicle. It has solar ovens in it. It has my tents. I mean, I could go run into the woods, live in the woods for years, be hunting and fishing, and never have a problem. You will never hear from Terry again if it gets crazier and crazier. And what do I mean by crazier? I'm just going to make a motion because it's bad to say. No. We have this thing called a constitution, and shall not means shall not, and Terry means it. I was a soldier, so, but shall not means shall not. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about living in a small car. And my only experience really is the Prius. That was the smallest I would go. And some people are saying, really? That seems crazy to me. But I had a great time in the Prius, and I'm going to tell you things that I did to live in a Prius. All right, you don't need a lot of stuff to have a great life, But what you need is the mentality. You need to really believe in your mind. Your mind has to be powerful and sharp. And number two, you have to be super organized. That's the only way I could make it. Everything had to be in its place. Now I'm going to tell you how I did it. All right, what's important to Terry when you're looking at a vehicle? Number one, I need my electronics. I love my backup cameras. I love my radar. I love everything. My little windows that glow when someone's there, someone's walking behind my van. I love all that. So I love electronics, but that's me. The Prius, my 2016 Prius, had all these electronics. Silly thing, but great speakers in the car, so important. Come on, we have road trip music. You got to be able to listen to your music, whether it's serious or whatever, and also great cell service. So you got to have a great cell plan. But yeah, the speakers in the car, oh my gosh, I love driving to the Atlantic City or Cape May and just listening. I listen to Big Bad Voodoo Daddy on Pandora. I love 1940s, 1920s music. That's Terry. All right, another good reason of having a small car is you are going to get great gas mileage. With more gas mileage, number one, you can live more frugally, or you can drive to more fun places. You don't have to think, well, if I go there, it's going to cost me $30 in gas. I could literally go from Redlands, California, all the way to Cedar City, Utah, $17 in gasoline. Now, that was back when... how do I say it nicely? Before the current person is in office, when gasoline was $1.75 a gallon. But $17 to drive all the way from Redlands, California to Cedar City, Utah, that was great. Now, it would cost a lot more, but it's going to cost a lot more in this big old van, I can guarantee you. All right, so is ground clearance that important? And I believe it is important, and Google these places, this is where I would take the Prius. All right, I just did a nice one on Bryan's Head, Utah. That was about 3 months ago. And, to get to the BLM property, there's huge boulders in the road. Well, the Prius was narrower than this, and it was easy just to guide around those boulders. So I didn't have a problem. Always bring a shovel, and bring planks of wood or something. Telephone Cove near Laughlin, Nevada is a great BLM campsite. You can spend 7 days right there on the Colorado River, but ground clearance, yes, I am low to the ground in a Prius, but my biggest enemy was soft sand. So, I keep a couple of planks of wood on me so I can get out, The other thing that made my life pleasant in the Prius is my tents. Now, I had a 2016 Toyota Prius, and I didn't like the way they did the hatches. They really cheapened it, how they put in the tire and everything. But it was big enough so I could lie my clamshell tent sideways. If you can't get the clam tent in there, I would advise you to get a reactive tent. Now, I did a video, it's under gear, of the reactive tent. I love it. It takes like 3 seconds to put up, and it's wonderful if you want to sit in the shade all day. You can put a chair in there, read a book. It's a nice sized little tent, and it goes up instantly. And my other tip for living in a small car is, cheaply, is get a new car if you can. If you can't and you're just starting out, I understand. But I'm not a mechanic. I hate mechanical things. And, what's more important to me? A big van, a small car, or that someone can fix the vehicle. No one could fix my my Volkswagen bus when it broke down. It was a nightmare trying to find a Volkswagen mechanic in the middle of nowhere. So reliable vehicle is really, really important. All right, crazy fun fact. I cooked more in the Prius than I do in my Toyota Sienna. Now, how is that possible? All right, I'm going to show you. Hold on. And yeah, I cooked all my meals in it. It was great. I loved it. Sorry about my knees, but I actually have a steering wheel tray right here. And, it's at my sister's house. Sorry I didn't bring it, but I did bring other stuff. So right here, I would just sit here and chop up all my vegetables and everything. I ripped out that seed. I had a friend help me rip that, and I built up a platform, And in the platform, I had drawers that pulled open like here, so I could just easily access, just like I can right here in my van, but all my spices, my condiments and everything, including my big jars. So I had my plastic cabinets that I got from Walmart all right here. And this was all a cooking area. So, you know, my little one burner stove I would put right here, and there's my circulation right there. I would open up my sunroof. Never cook, never listen to me, I'm a crazy lady, but this was all my cooking area. And like I said, I could chop up my vegetables right here and do all my cooking in the front seats, which the front seat was removed. And yeah, I cook so many meals here. Isn't that crazy? I cook more in the Prius than I do my big Toyota Sienna, but not sure what I'm doing with the Sienna yet. You know, wait, let me put it right. I'm pretty sure I'm getting a different vehicle, even though I love the Sienna. That's why I'm not pulling out the seat right now. And I'm sometimes driving around my family. So, but with the seat gone, it makes cooking up here so much easier. And I did have a mini ice chest, and when I get back to California, I'm going to show you how I wrapped it and everything and how I used it. It was basically for if I went to a restaurant or like Sam's Club, if I bought a slice of pizza and it was too big for me to eat, I'd put it in my ice chest and the next day I had it. All right, so the other thing about being in my small car was it rarely got cold inside, and I like that. Hold on. My seat's uncomfortable. It rarely got cold inside, meaning I would be up in the Poconos in October and November, and it'd be 32 degrees at night and it'd be 60 degrees in here. Why? I think it's because it's such a small area, and me and Lucy's body heat kept it warm, and it was really well sealed. So, you know, I didn't need to bring a lot of blankets and stuff. Another good reason for a small car: parking is a dream. It really is. Trying to get this minivan, like I'm in a parking lot right now, and some people park over the line. Well, in my Prius, I could just pull right in. Or if I'm camping out in Southern California at the beach cities, it was so much easier finding a, wait a minute, campsite at night in the Prius than it is the Toyota Sienna. And it was so hard to find a campsite when I had my big full-size Chevy van. So small is great. Another tip, I don't pack a lot of clothes. I don't pack a lot of clothes right now. Well, now I do. Terry has some costumes, but normally I just keep to one color scheme. Like I'm always in blue. And, you know, I wear multiple layers, whether I need to keep cool or keep warm. So everything is, you know, my coat is gray, my hat is gray, I have a black hat. Sometimes I wear multiple hats, but I wear layers. And one of my blankets is actually a poncho. It's a very thick blanket, and when it's freezing out there, you know, I'll wear it. It matches with my gray coat, so I wear in layers, and always one specific color. You know, I have a girlfriend that wanted to pack her whole wardrobe with her, and it's like, you don't need it. Laundry mats are everywhere. All right, so pottying at nighttime. The toilet is very, very important. You know, I have in the Prius, if I had a 5-gallon bucket, and I prefer it because I would sleep over here. That would be the bed. Most people know, you know, behind the passenger seat, you know, that's where the bed area would be. But a 5-gallon toilet is round, and it wouldn't fit where I would sit during the day. You know, I would jump out of bed, use the toilet, jump back in. How did I get a 5-gallon bucket in there? Well, my 5-gallon bucket is oval shaped, and it certainly is convenient. So if you can find a 5-gallon bucket that's oval and you can fit it back there, perfect. If not, you have to go with a smaller 3-gallon bucket. And nah, you know, I like the height. It was a perfect height for me. All right, so what was my morning routine? I mean, this is why I loved Prius. You know, okay, so it's cold outside. It's cold. So first thing I would do is turn on the engine, and, you know, when I turn on the engine, I'm charging up my phones, I'm charging up my little Goal Zero batteries, everything's getting a drink, and I would leave the engine run. Now, I have 2 of these. You can get these off of Amazon. It has a long cord. All right, why do I have 2 of these? All right, first thing Ma Terry needs in the morning is her cup of coffee. And I like instant coffee. My sister makes great percolator coffee, but and it's wonderful. And I have my Panera Clubs, my $8.99 subscription. But let's say I'm up at Brian's Head and it's freezing in the morning. So I do turn on my engine, I heat up the car, and this little gadget, it'll heat up my coffee cup in a couple of minutes. Now then, I have two of them. Why do I have two of them? All right. So, number one, when you take this out, this is piping hot. This is really hot. This gets scalding hot. So, I have a little silicone trivet that it can sit on up on the dashboard. Why? Because if Miss Lucy's jumping around, I don't want her to get burned. She never goes on the dashboard. Now, why do I have two of them? All right. In my coffee cup, okay, I am not the cleanest homemaker. And, this will have a taste of coffee on it. So the other one is just for boiling water. So if I want oatmeal or mashed potatoes or anything, cup of soup, I want my water to taste like water. So I do have two of these, and usually this one's brown, but I could only find my water one right now. So this is all doing it while the engine's going, and it's getting 50 something miles to the gallon, so it's not really busting the budget doing something like that, and it keeps us nice and toasty warm. All right, so we talked about we didn't talk about hobbies. All right, food always went up front. That was my food pantry, my pots and pans, my cooking area, that was food. Okay, clothes would get stored in the back. One side is my bed, the other side is my chest of drawers. I didn't carry a lot of clothes, and clothes can be stuffed anywhere. And, I have my gym duffel bag that I just throw in the front seat. But an important thing to me on the road is hobbies. Sometimes you're going to get bored. And I would oil paint right here off my steering wheel. I put up my dinner tray, and I have what's called a pochade box. And it really is teeny tiny, but I could just drive up to a scene and just be painting, as I'm parked. It was great. You need hobbies, but if you're going to be in a small car, you need small hobbies. I did bring my full-size scooter, my adult scooter. Why? Because along the beaches in Southern California, they have these cement paths, and it's so nice to go from one beach to the other on your scooter. And, I bring a lot of books, whether they're crossword puzzle books or books to read. At nighttime, you do get bored. You don't want to be watching your TV all the time. YouTube for me. But, my big three things are food, clothes, hobbies. So, if I was going to live in a small car, how would I do it? Number one, unless you have to drive around someone, every seat would be torn out because you need as much space as possible. And don't listen to me, once again, I am a crazy person, certified. All right. But that being said, the other thing is, like the Prius, it's called blinds for the number 4 cars. And it's Marston Screens. And they make screens, bug screens. But the problem is when it's the front screen, they only make like a half a screen. So, you can see your mirrors. And, how is that going to keep bugs out? If you roll your windows down, it's like, that was stupid. So, yeah, these are all glued in. My bug screens are glued in. Why? Because I like sitting up on BLM property, having my lunch, cooking my food, and not having flies annoy me. I use E6000. Test this in your own vehicle, and there's videos in my playlist. Test it, because like when it's glued down with E6000, I can use nail polish remover and get it off without damaging my car. I've done it so many times. But test your car. I have no idea what a Kia is made out of, but I know what a Toyota is made out of. All right, the other thing that I really liked is my steering wheel tray. Just Google it. It'll pop up on Amazon. It's about $11. That to me is so necessary. I mean, I want to... Even if I'm eating fast food or a bowl of oatmeal or I'm making a sandwich, I just want to feel like a human. And that steering wheel tray, well, because I don't have a big gut, it fits real good. So, All right, I would carry around wood planks or something if you go into soft sand, because most small cars don't have a lot of ground clearance. And I also carry shovels once I parked on top of a boulder. Oopsie. All right, we did that. Solar. All right, I have under gear a few of my smaller solar batteries. I am in love with Goal Zero. A lot of people like Jackery and whatever, whatever you want. Jackery to me is a newcomer, and they work really good. You can't go wrong with either one. But Goal Zero, I have a small 28-watt folding panel. So let's say I want to sit at a picnic table and paint, or I can just use my folding panel. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. All right, this is my little folding solar panel, and I have videos of me just putting it in my front window. If it's cool enough and the sun's out, yes, it'll definitely charge up. You don't want this to get too hot. And this has a thing inside of it. I'm pretty sure that if it is too hot to charge up, it'll turn itself off. In here, wait a minute. These are my cables, and it just plugs directly into my battery in the input area. And I'm going to unfold it real quick so you get a little look. There we go. It's unfolding. It's unfolding. It's 4 panels, and it really is nice, and it works well, and it keeps my lithium ion 100 going and my 150 going. So that does the job. It really does. So when I'm living in a small car, I don't need a lot of electricity. I'm not going to put in a refrigerator, even though you can put in a refrigerator. Like I said, I didn't really need it at the time. Food was readily available. So okay, so that's my solar system. And look in the playlist. I have a few good videos on it. All right, so those are my tips for living in a small car. Now, would I go back to the small car after being in the Sienna for a year? And I've lived in everything from the Prius to a 40-foot bus. Would I go back to a small car? All right, so it depends on 2 things. Where's the country headed? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. Every day it's a new thing. So, am I going to Mad Max it? We'll find out. But the other thing is I like the RAV4 if I went back to a small car, just because of the hybrid battery and the ground clearance. I could do a small car again. I love the 40 miles per gallon on the RAV4. That one's pretty good. See, a lot of it with a small car, your expenses are very low. If I keep my expenses really low, that means I get to do more things. And, I was reading, one of my favorite commenters is Go Frugal, and he loves going to IMAX theaters. Well, so do I. But if I'm putting all my money in a gas tank, then I can't afford the IMAX theater. Like I said, it all is about balance. And, with the Prius, like I said, I cook 95% of my meals in the car. Without a problem and without a refrigerator. That was living cheaply, getting 54 miles to the gallon, and I could afford more stuff to do. All right, I hope this answered some questions, and please leave a comment below. I love reading them. And have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye from Terry. Miss Lucy.
愛してることを伝える言葉がないのはきっと言葉に頼らずあなたのことを抱きしめて愛伝えるためなのかな